Hello. My timetable went all to pot this week. I normally record this video on a Monday and just schedule it to be released on the Wednesday. For various reasons, that didn't happen. And I haven't done my Tai Chi Twitch stream. I'll probably do that later today. But, excuse me. Sometimes these things happen. Sometimes you just have to roll with the punches. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that, okay, you can have plans, but the one thing you can guarantee at times is that those plans won't work. And there's actually no point in getting stressed about it. And one thing I have to discipline myself about is not to beat myself up about it when things don't go the way I'd planned them. Because very often the plan or the schedule isn't there for any particular reason. It's just there because I feel it's what I ought to be doing, what I could be doing, what I should be doing. And actually the only person whose expectations I'm really disappointing are mine. So, why put pressure on yourself? I've long ago given up doing that because there's actually no point. Life will always be full of challenges, roadblocks, unexpected opportunities, unexpected new things coming in, as well as the less good things in life, like the health issues, financial issues, work issues, that we probably have very little control over. And then you can get situations where the whole world seems to be going mad. Certainly from the perspective of anybody in the UK, our politics is just bonkers at the moment. A lot of people have suddenly been forced into major money worries because of the way mortgage rates are almost certainly going to rise. And then there's, the war in the Ukraine is quite some way away from us. But it's never good to have a war anywhere. I mean, the truth is, at any time, anywhere in the world, there will almost certainly be at least one war going on. It's just that this one in Ukraine is a bit bigger and a bit more formal than some of the other ones. And there's an awful lot that can make you feel, WTF is going on? And I spotted a tweet from a friend of mine who was saying sometimes, it's usually during the winter, there are times where he just thinks, I don't understand what's going on. I just feel, really lost and disorientated. And you know what? That's actually a very natural reaction. And I suspect there are an awful lot of people who at the moment, for various reasons, are thinking, I feel lost. I feel powerless. I don't know what I can do to change things. Well, if that's you, then the rest of this video is just for you. Because, trust me, you are not alone. ultimately, the only thing we have any power and any control over is what we choose to think, and that makes us how we feel and how we act. But in the end, it's our choice. Now, this is not the horrible Americanism of you all have a good day now, which I can't stand, because there could be a number of reasons why having a good day just isn't possible. Trust me, if you're going to the funeral of someone that you loved, it is not going to be a good day. It's not going to be a happy day. But what you can do is make it as good as possible within those limits. And this means recognising that, yes, sometimes you're going to feel sad. You're going to feel lost. You're going to be thinking, WTAF is going on? What can I do? I think the feeling of powerlessness is certainly one I feel at the moment. And I suspect it's one that an awful lot of people can relate to. This feeling that there's rotten things going on and we can't do anything. There isn't an awful lot anyone watching this video can do to stop a war that's going on. But you may have the power to settle an argument between friends, to clear the air between yourself and a family member. Maybe just even to ring somebody up that you haven't spoken to for too long, where you're a bit nervous and thinking, oh, they're probably thinking bad things of me. You can't do anything really that's going to stop fighting between armies going on anywhere. But you can take steps to bring a little bit more peace and harmony to your life or to somebody else's life. And you might think that in the context of a world that seems so cruel and brutal and bizarre and bonkers at times, that isn't going to make any difference. But it will make a difference to you, and it will make a difference to the people that you interact with the idea of saying, well, can I mend this quarrel? Can I build this bridge so I've got a better relationship with this person? That will make you feel better. And if you feel better, you will start to act in more positive ways. The only power we have is what we choose to think. And very often the sorts of thoughts that cause us to feel really stressed or cause us to wonder what the hell's going on are habitual. Looking at the politics in the UK, there will be an awful lot of people I know who have got the attitude that all Tories are evil. I don't agree with that at all. I take the view that all politicians are human. Yes, even Vladimir Putin. But their worldview and the filters that they have on them, that they have picked up by experience or from the people around them, just give them a very, very different view of how things are, of how things should be. And so they think in a very different way, so they act in a very different way. And I genuinely try to feel sorry for them at the moment, to be honest. I do feel very sorry for Liz Truss. I would not be Liz Truss for all the tea in China. She's in a horrible situation. It's a situation largely of her own making, and she's got lessons to learn. But I actually feel sorry for her. I feel incredibly sorry for Vladimir Putin, that his worldview is that force is the only way to do things. I know in the end he will overstep the mark. I'm worried about what that mark might be. And I suspect that he will come to regret past actions. He will probably be forced to quite a brutal reckoning about why he was so wrong. Bullies normally are. Bullies tend to come a cropper in the end, because sooner or later they'll come up against someone who won't be bullied, who will stand up to them, and they generally don't like a taste of their own medicine. So I'm not sitting here thinking that, everyone who disagrees with me is evil and that the only good people are the ones who agree with my worldview. That would be despotic. The world needs lots of different viewpoints. When those viewpoints clash so much, that's when you feel lost, alone, and powerless. But you always have the power of choosing what to think and how to act. And choosing to act from a position of love and compassion. You're not going to go far wrong. Now, I use these videos, as you know, I do meditation and I do Tai Chi on my Twitch stream. And these YouTube videos are slightly more general. They often tend towards life coaching. And while I am a fully qualified life coach, I also use slightly more unorthodox life coaching methods, which involve things like this, my oracle cards, because it's absolutely amazing how often a reading can turn into a mini life coaching session, can trigger all sorts of things. So I'm just going to pull a few cards and hope that the message of the card will resonate with somebody who's watching them. And if that's you, do please feel free to reach out to me for a more personal, more interactive conversation. One reason why I find YouTube less good than Twitch is because there is not the same interactivity. The cat. Now, as anyone who knows me knows, I love cats. In fact, I've got a cat sitting next to me now. Cats are independent, but they set boundaries. And boundaries are so important. Very often, you can get so lost in other people's feelings and problems that they impinge rather more on you than they should do. And so this message of this card goes out to anybody who's feeling closed in, slightly claustrophobic, with all the demands being made on them, which is, it's okay to set boundaries. It is totally okay to say, nope, I'm not going to do that. It's totally okay if someone comes and says, you know what, could you just? It's totally okay to say, no, I can't do that. Because we all need me time. Let's see what the next card's going to be. The Water Fairy, feelings and emotions. Now the message of this card is feelings and emotions are often there for a reason. Sometimes the feelings we have don't make us feel so good. And if you're in that sort of stage now, the message of this card is it's okay not to be okay, which I know is an awful cliche, but it really is. If we have a really strong feeling, it's there for a reason. And if we try to suppress it and not deal with the issue that's caused the feeling, it'll come back, and it'll possibly come back physically. So if you're dealing with really strong feelings and emotions right now, and you're trying to suppress them, and you're trying to carry on regardless, the message of this card is please don't. One of the lessons that I learnt many years ago when I first had counselling was a wonderful lesson from a psychiatrist. I was going through a very difficult time, as one often is when one resorts to counselling. And he said, you're doing what most people do. He said, you're carrying on. He said, and that's a perfectly valid coping mechanism. He said, but what I wish most people realised is that there is another perfectly valid coping mechanism, which is it's okay to fall apart. Because you know what? When you let yourself fall apart, really feel the feelings, really get them out, you can often put yourself back together stronger and better than you were before. And trust me, I speak from experience. I'll do one more card. The horse. Horses are very strong, very independent. They can carry big weights, and they're often the person that we delegate authority to. We ride a horse, and the horse carries our weight. We hitch the horse up to a carriage or a wagon or to a plough, and it's the horse's weight and strength that does all the work. The message of this card is, do you know what? It's totally okay not to do it all yourself. It's totally okay to ask for help. You don't have to be the strong loner. Now, I'm not quite sure what impelled me to do it, but I kept all the cards I'd used out, partly so I didn't pick them again. But also, somebody just told me to, and I think I can now see why. They tell a coherent story. You need boundaries. Sometimes you need those boundaries so you can really learn the message and really feel emotions that you need to feel to process. And you don't have to do it all alone. Now, many years ago when I was going through a life crisis, I turned to a wonderful book by Paul McKenna, who is my guru. Paul, if you happen to see this, I can't thank you enough. I doubt very much he will see this, but I'm putting it out there. And the book was called Change Your Life in 7 Days. Now, it didn't change my life in 7 days, but it changed me. And I learned a lot about myself. And one of the things that I learned about myself was in my work that I really enjoy working one-to-one with people, which at the time in my job, I wasn't getting enough opportunities to do. So that was my plan. I thought, right, this is what I need to do. I need to restructure things so I'm spending more time working one-to-one with people. And I had a plan. The plan fell apart. Life got in the way, as it does. My life went down a completely different route. I stopped being a pharmacist so much, and I started training in things like Reiki and hypnotherapy. And I started volunteering as a Reiki therapist at a local hospital. And one day I suddenly thought, oh, you're working one-to-one with people, just not in the way you wanted. And I still really value working one-to-one with people or working face-to-face with people when I'm working with them to help them with their issues. Now, in many ways, working through a streaming medium or video medium like YouTube isn't as good for me because I can't personalise what I say. Got to keep it very general. But more importantly, if you want to, you can't actually say to me, I'd like a bit of help with this. And if anything I've said has touched you and you would like a more personal one-to-one interaction with me, however briefly, do please feel free to contact me. I'll put contact details. Contact details will be in the information about this video. Many years ago, and this is going back to feeling powerless, people feel they haven't got a voice. What I hope I do in these videos is show you how you can use the voice that you have to best advantage, whether it's working in your locality, whether it's working on a larger stage. You do have a voice. And I want to tell you, your voice deserves to be heard. And if you can't think of anybody else that you can express your voice to, do please feel free to contact me. I would love to hear from you. Namaste.